Hey, what's going on, guys? Wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about training during Ramadan. So, for those of you that might not know, Ramadan is basically where you're not eating or drinking from sunrise to sunset. So, depending on where you're living, that could be 16 hours, 17 hours, and even more. So, this could definitely take a toll on your day-to-day activities that you usually do throughout the year. So, a lot of people usually have questions on how they should go about training during this time of year. So I wanted to kind of go a little bit into detail about that. So I'll start off with timing of your training. So what I personally like to do is wait until after I break my fast, just because I find it to be most optimal. So at that point, you're probably breaking your fast around like 7-8 p.m., right? Depending on where you're living again. I'll usually have a meal, I'll usually hydrate myself, and then an hour or two later, that's when I'll usually get into my training. It might be a little later in the day than I'm used to and that a lot of people might be used to, but kind of just adjusting and making the best of it. So as far as timing of my training, that's what I usually target. I really try to discourage training while you're fasting, just because just from the obvious, you already have barely any kind of food or liquid in your body to work off of. So whether you're thinking about working out earlier in the day right after you eat during sunrise, just think about it. You're gonna burn off all that and then have nothing to function off of for the rest of the day, or vice versa. If you're looking to train in the afternoon, at that point you're not gonna really have anything left in your body either. So that's just my kind of 2 cents on that. But yeah, I definitely recommend waiting until at least after you break your fast to kind of get into your training, get into your routines, whatever physical activity you usually do throughout the year. Wait until that time. Now, if you're really feeling to do some type of training while you're fasting, or if you don't have time at night because of work or school, which is totally understandable, I would recommend doing some type of low intensity or mid intensity, like cardio, or working on abs, your core, mobility, stretching, stuff like that. You can do while you're fasting, but I would do it an hour or so before you break your fast, because around that time, most likely you're not going to really spend more than that if you're doing low intensity work anyways. So say you start working out at like 6:37 and you break your fast at 8, you'll have enough time to rest and recover, and then by that time you'll eat, refill your body, and be good to go. So another reason why I don't recommend working out and training while you're fasting is just because you're gonna build up fatigue over time. So your body might get adjusted to it, but the more you're working out with nothing in your body, that it's slowly gonna start to feed into your muscle and other areas of your body. I won't get too scientific, but definitely there's just so many negatives when it comes to working out with nothing in your body. And then hydration is another one. You really have no water in your body, in your system, to work off of. Naturally when you work out, you want to refuel. That's just something that's going to come naturally, and you're not going to be able to do that. So I think hydration is another thing to keep in mind when you're trying to decide whether you should work out while you're fasting or after you're fasting. But again, if you're really feeling to do something, I would wait like an hour or so before you break your fast, and then just do something low intensity, maybe incline walk, go for a jog, go for a low intensity run, stuff like that. Now, getting into training style. So what I personally like to do is, I was never a big fan of like isolated movements. So what I mean by that is like a chest day, a shoulder day, back day, like everything separately. I've never really been a big fan of that. I just find it very boring. So I think this is a really good time to get into like a push-pull leg split or an upper-lower split, where you're compacting a lot of different muscle groups into each day. So the reason why I recommend this is because you'll have more time to recover. So say you're doing like an upper-lower split, you can do that 4 days on and then take one rest day. Or you can do 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, and then just keep repeating that cycle. The main thing to keep in mind is, honestly, during this month, these 4 weeks, you're not going to be building muscle. You're not going to be gaining a lot of strength. It's just a time to kind of adjust to the circumstances and just keep yourself afloat, until we're back to a normal schedule. And honestly, 4 weeks, 1 month is gonna fly by like it's nothing. So I really recommend adjusting to a schedule like this. So as far as what you're doing while you're training, I would definitely focus on higher volume. So not really worrying too much about weight. So maybe get into like the 4 or 5 sets, work in supersets. So stuff like that. Work on, I mean, you should definitely still keep doing your compound movements, but find a lot of new accessory movements to do, especially now that we're at home. Look into resistance band work, just different types of accessory work you can do, even a lot of body weight work you can do. And then even for cardio, instead of using like a physical treadmill or Stairmaster or whatever you have at home or you have access to, instead of doing that, look into a lot of HIIT stuff you can do at home. So stuff like that I would try to integrate into your body. So to kind of wrap up this talk, if you're still watching, definitely keep in mind the timing of your training, the style of your training, and hopefully these few tips that I've kind of given based on the best of my knowledge and my experience help out you guys in whatever you guys might have struggles in or questions in. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing to keep in mind is, honestly, in 4 weeks, even if you were to not work out at all, it's not the end of the world. Nothing's drastically gonna happen to your muscles or your strength or your physique. You could take a month off. You're training for all year round for 11 months. 1 month out of the 12 months is not going to kill you. So that's just another thing to keep in mind while you're working through it. And honestly, if you're feeling some type of decrease in strength or in energy, it's going to be pretty normal. I mean, you have nothing in your body. Your body's kind of all over the place. Your hormones are all over the place. So things to keep in mind. And also sleep. I think that's another thing we tend to lack in during this month, especially me. So don't get discouraged if you're kind of noticing a dip in strength or the weight you're hitting or just anything in general. But yeah, if you guys have any additional questions, definitely reach out to me, shoot me a DM. I'm always available for communication, and wish you guys the best of luck and talk to you guys soon.